So the first event will be max effort V-snaps or tuck V-snaps in 30 seconds. So the advanced guys and the masters, you'll be doing straight-legged V-snaps, and the scaled version will be tuck V-snaps. So I'm going to demonstrate the standards. So the straight V-snaps must start on the floor, finish on the floor, and we're just going up as fast as you can. Basically until that 30-second cap goes off. So making sure feet, hands touch the floor every single rep. And then the scaled version, you guys can do them in tuck, but feel free to do them in straight if you feel more comfortable or they're faster. So you just be going in. These knees must touch the chest. So if you only come into here and going back down, that'll be a no rep. Same as the advance, you must touch those toes and really compress in to get that full value of the rep. All right, push-ups. So with the push-ups, it's max effort push-ups in 60 seconds. I'll put the time cap on it just because it's all about the quality. You'll get a good endurance. We tested this out the other day and I think Mike got 45 or something like that, around those low 40s. So that's where most of you should be, around the low 20s to mid 30s, and those that are quite strong, got that endurance, are up around the 40s. So let's go through the standards for the advanced and the masters. So must start in that rounded position. Elbows must be going back, no elbows to the side. Down, fully push up. So should be all the way to the top, nothing like this. Okay, we don't want to see this, and we don't want to see these ones here. We're going to have a judge, whether it's myself or one of the other members, and they're going to have their hands. So wherever you do your front support, that hand is going to stay here, and you must touch that hand every single rep. So it forces you to push out every single time. And if that core drops too much, you'll get warnings. On that second, third warning, you'll be stopped, asked to finish. So with the leg lifts, it's unbroken. It's max effort unbroken. There's no time cap on it. It's just getting those feet to the bar. If you can't get your feet to the bar, unfortunately, there's no scale version, just because the difficulty and the jump from just doing these ones, which a lot of us can do, to going up is quite a bit of a spread. So we really want to test those that can get up. If that's not you and you can't get up, doesn't mean you can't do everything else. Everyone can do V-snaps, everyone can do push-ups. It's just, this is going to make you work harder so we can get your feet to the bar. And there's a lot of you that can. Okay, let me start with the advanced version. It's just getting those feet to the bar and down. Okay, so you don't have to keep them completely straight. So you can bend them probably about 30 degrees. All right, and that's just to help those guys and girls that are tight in their hammies. But I don't want to see a full 90-degree bend of the knees like this. That's what you're allowed in the scaled version. So some of you girls doing the scaled version, you are allowed to bend it in. So you can do the bend, extend, and back down. So that's a little bit easier than just keeping them straight. All right, muscle ups. So there's two different ways for the advanced and the masters. You're either on the big rings doing your strict ring muscle ups. With the strict ring muscle ups, you must start in a straight arm and you must finish locked out in the straight arm to get that rep to count. So it should look like this. We start, then you come down to straight arm position, straight body, lock out the top, come down and get yourself straight arms. Lock out and back down. Now, if you're someone that struggles with the flexibility and you only get to here, it's not fully locked out, I'll allow that. But we don't want is people finishing here and cheating to get back up quickly. If you can't do these muscle ups, and I know there's a lot of you that can't, there's a real mix of people, that's fine. In the advanced and the masters, you are going to do them with the box. So you're coming up, that's better, and then up. So it makes it a little bit more realistic for a lot of those, definitely a lot easier than up there. And if you've got that transition, you should be able to knock out quite a lot. Now for the scale division, so what you're going to do is pull-ups, and it's just max effort pull-ups. So you're going to start just in this supinated grip. That's the easiest grip. Straight arms, pull up, and then lock it out at the bottom. So I don't want to see any kicking, just got to keep nice and hollow, good form. Ice cream makers, the last part of the endurance component of of the games. So with the ice cream makers for the advanced and the masters, 2 options. 1, you do them straight and you go up and down, or 2, you bend them. Now if you bend them, I think it's 2 or 3 reps. 2 reps for every 1 straight. So again, refer to the score sheet, which everyone will have. So I'll do the straight version first. So chin up, come through and back. If you struggle to get to that straight position and hold that straight legs, you can do them in tucked. So tuck will look like this. In, back to a straight position. In, back to straight. And it's just unbroken here, I think. All right, so the L-sit hold will be held for the advanced and the masters on these sets of parallettes. That way it's really going to test you to keep those feet horizontal without too much allowance for dropping those legs. So get yourself set. We'll go 1 by 1. As soon as I call go, you're up and you're holding here. So you still got a little bit of allowance to drop, but not too much. As soon as they drop on the floor, you're out. And if there's too much bend in your knees, you'll also be warned or forced to stop. Now for the scaled division, you'll be up on the pommel. And that way you'll be doing an L-sit too, no tuck sit, but it just gives you even more scope for deviation in those legs. So you'll jump up, 3, 2, 1, and you can hold it here. Preferably here, but if there's there, that's fine, but they must be straight. As soon as you touch the pommel, then that's when your time will be stopped. Support hold, it's one of the other events. So support hold on the rings will be done on these rings. So on these rings, a lot harder than in there. So we're gonna really test that straight arm strength, holding here. As soon as that arm bends, or you fall, then you'll be, 1 slight arm bend, you'll be given a warning. If it continues to happen, you're out. So you really gotta test that straight arm position. Now for the scaled people, so that shouldn't be too hard for a lot of you. The scaled people, you're gonna do it on the box, but you're gonna try and get a minute. So you're gonna do that front support. Again, it's all about position, and the rings are gonna be out, rings are gonna be straight, and you just gotta get this position for a minute to get your full 10 points. So the front lever component, for the advanced and the masters, there's 2 exercises you can choose from. The harder one being the open front tuck lever, the inverted hang. Inverted hang, come up, holding this position here. Now, those that have been doing the front lever training can do the open tuck. If you can hold that inverted hang for 30 seconds, then open tuck isn't out of the realms, possibilities. So you're gonna come on the end, make sure those arms are straight, and then holding this position. What I don't wanna see is this, knees must be away from elbows, arms need to be straight. For the scale division, you guys are just gonna hold a dish hold. Dish hold, just because this is too challenging. So with the dish hold, I've got a scaled system where basically if you hit 1.5 minutes, I believe it is, around there, 1.5 minutes, you're gonna get your 10 points. And it's a full dish hold. So if you hit a minute, you're probably gonna be around the 7, 8 points. If you're hitting 30 seconds, you're gonna be around a 5, something like that. So dish hold must be full dish hold. If you start to drop those shoulders, you'll be given a warning to come back up to this position. No arms in this position, must be here. So we're looking at that 1.5 minute mark to get your full 10 points. So in the handstand part, for the advanced and the masters, you got 2 options. 1, you do it static, no movement at all. As soon as you walk, you come down, you're stopped, okay? You can do it on the parallettes or on the floor if you want. So parallettes are probably a little bit easier just because you can use your wrist to stabilize. Otherwise, just do it on the floor. If you can't do a static handstand, you're someone that's gonna get 1 second, because if you can't hit 5 seconds, then you need to do the scaled version of that handstand. And you can do that in the masters or the advanced. So you just got to get a stick. Someone will hold the stick like this, and maybe we'll get 2 people, so 1 on either end, and you're going to kick up and you're going to have your toes. So we do the Chinese handstand. So those that have done Chinese handstands in the class will be familiar with this. And what was effectively going to happen is you've got to get your 10 points, you've got to hold that position for about 2 minutes. So it's a real test of endurance. The trick here is we're going to put this stick up to your toes. So your big toe is going to be here. So if you start to depress those shoulders, you will come out and you won't hold. So it's much, much harder than doing it against the wall, and that's why we understand that just doing a static handstand is really going to entertain the gymnast and the real experts of the class, but we don't expect everyone to be able to do it. It's quite challenging. We want everyone to get involved and have fun, not feel that they can't do a particular exercise or event. So this option here does give you guys a bit more opportunity and help to get some points. Now with the handstand walking, it's the other component of that handstand. For those that can handstand walk, which is quite a few of you, we're just going to go up and down. We'll have boundaries there, and it's basically I've got a distance, and that's how you get your 10 points. Okay, so it's not about destroying yourself and going up, down 1,000 times. It's really, if you hit the certain amount of rows, you get your points. And wherever you stop in between, it's all scaled between 0 and 10 points, just like everything else. The obstacle course is going to be something we're going to do right at the end if we get time. It's just a little bit more set up. There's probably only about a couple of you that really can do it anyway. So we want to try and get the bulk of this stuff that everyone can do out of the way before we get going into something like a handstand obstacle course. And maybe that's a separate event another day. In the advanced and the masters category, you have under the handstand category, a static handstand and a handstand walk. Now, with the handstand walk, some of you will be going by yourself, and that's great, but there's also an assisted version. So you'll get a partner, and that's what we're going to demonstrate here. So your partner will hold the stick up like this, and then Mike, or your partner's going to kick the handstand. You're going to stop them first, and they're going to lean, and then you're going to start walking with them. That's it. And down. So we're looking for a distance on that, and that way, if you hit the threshold on whatever that point system is, yet to be determined, at least it gives you a crack at doing something, practice, and potentially a point or two. Okay, so the flexibility routine, you're going to hold each position for 5 seconds, and you're just going to go through the motions, 4 exercises, 4 stretches to do. So we're going to start in that straddle pancake, and the idea is to try and get that chest as close to the floor. So if you're about here, you're probably going to get half a point. Here, get your elbows down, 1 point. You can get your head down, you're probably going to get close to 2 points. To get the full 2.5 points, you need to get that chest to the ground. So it needs to be here, and someone's going to measure and make sure they can, if they can't get the hand underneath, you get that full 2.5 points. So we want everyone to get nice and warmed up. We're going to start with the flexibility when we start, so we get it done and dusted, and you should be pretty warmed up before we do it. Then we head straight into pike. Same thing. Need to make sure not only your head is on your knees, but there's no bend. So we don't want to see this. Need to have absolutely straight knees and pushing down. That one's probably going to be a little bit more difficult to judge just because knees will bend. But head down, hold for 5 seconds. Then we go into a shoulder extension. So you'll just turn, your hands need to come in, and then you need to slide down, keeping those hands together and hold. Now with this one, you're judged on not only how your distance to the floor, but also how wide your hands are. So if you're someone out here and you're sliding out, you're going to lose points in that. The fourth one is the bridge, and that's going to be damned hard for a lot of you. A lot of you guys and girls that are really tight in the shoulders. So we're going to come into this position, and we're going to try to get up and push yourself up in that position. Mine's clearly terrible. I need to practice it more. That would probably get a 1 if I'm lucky. I didn't even know what it looks like upside down. So, you know, a good bridge I'm looking for is straight arms and straight legs. So pushing, pretending that's my leg, and pushing that so it's straight, and you're pushing through your shoulders. Where my legs were clearly bent, I felt it. But it gives you a score. So if you can get up, you get something, and then those that are straighter will get a full score. So that's the flexibility flow routine, those 4 exercises: straddle, pike, shoulder extension, and bridge.